It's Scarf Darby Banzai. Today we're taking a look at this Tamron 18-200mm lens. It's an all-in-one. I was curious to see how those would work out. This specific one is f3.5-6.3 through the range with VC. It's very low cost. I bought this used, bargain rated at KEH. I wasn't expecting amazing quality, but it's in decent condition and I'm going to try it out today. I took this out with the M50 plus the Fotodiox adapter, which is not ideal. I thought I had the official one on there, but I had this Fotodiox one, which has a few quirks with flare, and it did disconnect one or two times, but not a big deal. I do have a lens filter on, which could be part of the problem, but it also could be the adapter. The main goal here is to have a lens and camera combo where I can do some of the vlogging stuff, plus do some of the photography stuff. That way, sometimes when I'm not feeling it, just bring one camera instead of the two cameras. Usually I've got one for B-roll and then I've got one for taking photos. So in this situation with this setup, I can do both at the same time. But at least for this video, I did bring two cameras out so that I could get actual footage of me using this setup. I did try the Tamron lens out with a 30D and it appears to work just fine. The autofocus works, and also I did some VC tests really quick. Took 3 photos with VC on and then with it off, and I can tell from the photos it appears to be working, so that's nice. I'm guessing that the VC is part of the internal function of the lens and it doesn't need any information from the camera. This is a good combo for just using the back screen instead of the viewfinder. When I've got something like this on there, it is pretty challenging to do that. These specific cables that I have are not bad for that, so I still can, but it is more convenient just to use the back screen sometimes. Here's a quick video clip with the Viltrox speed booster plus the Tamron and the M50. You can see that it does not fill a full frame. That lens is just not capable of doing that. Of course it is an APS-C lens. I was just curious to see what it would look like. And even with video that does some cropping, still you're not going to be using this for that use case really. Unless you want that vignette look, I don't know. One pet peeve I have of lenses like this with autofocus is that this ring here for the manual focus actually moves when you're autofocusing. It's just a personal irritation of mine. I mean, you could put your hand on there and accidentally kind of prevent it from moving when it's autofocusing. I don't know if that'll do anything bad, because I don't want to find out. But it's in there and it's just kind of irritating. So something to keep in mind if you're interested in a lens like this. This focus ring is mechanical, which is nice. It doesn't have a lot of throw to it, so it's pretty challenging to use, but not too bad. Of course, I still would have preferred something where it does not move when it's autofocusing. To give you an idea of what the IS looks like. Switch it off. Try the different stabilizations in the lens plus the camera. So I was at 1/60 of the second, f13, ISO 100 at 200mm. It definitely takes some technique to deal with the vibration control in the lens because it jumps if you move too far. So you have to be pretty steady even when it's on, it's running and all that. Here's a look at the quality of the background blur with point source lights, if you want to call it bokeh. It's with the focus far forward or back, and then I cycle the apertures with auto ISO. And here is what I could get of the aperture itself. Pretty challenging with this lens. This is about as close as it gets with focus from here at 18. That's about as close as it gets with focus at 200. It's really not a bad setup. Usually I like super small equipment, but with this lens it has a good grip on it. The weight isn't too bad. It's a pretty light lens considering what it does. My arm's getting a bit tired, but but it still would be in regardless with the M50. It's a light camera, but it's still not super light. It's really not a bad combination altogether with the size of it. You can easily hold it out like that. It does get heavy at times, which I did notice out in the field, but not too bad. Autofocus on this lens is not amazing. It's a little slow, but it seems decent. Of course, I won't know until I actually get in there and look at the photos, see how many actually focus where they should have, but so far it's just adequate. I guess I could say adequate enough. One thing I noticed already, I've probably been using that camera more than this one, but the battery is going down quicker on this one, probably because of this lens, and maybe EF is more power hungry, plus the VR, or VC in this case, a little more power hungry. There is a lock on the lens that locks it on 18, and that works nicely. Even if you're just doing the vlogging stuff, the lens won't shift, but generally, at least my copy of it is very stiff with the focus ring, so I wouldn't expect it to easily come out, but it is nice to have a lock on there. After browsing through some of the photos and videos, the quality looks okay. I think some of the situations the focus wasn't perfect where it should have been, but it might have been user error. I was juggling two cameras, just trying to make things work. Overall, I definitely could see using this more in the future for that stuff, especially when I've just got the one camera to deal with. Probably the biggest quirk of this lens is with this front focus ring. It does move when it autofocuses, so if your hand is touching it, that can be an issue. Depends on how you are holding the camera. If you're doing the vlogging stuff, just avoid touching this ring while it's moving around doing the autofocus. It seemed to be decent enough with autofocus itself. It's pretty slow in some situations. Of course, this is just the first test with this lens and the M50 combo. I do definitely want to use this more in the future. I might even look to other lenses that have the same general design where it's got the wide end that I want, plus something longer. Maybe not as long or even longer, depending on what I'm feeling after using this more. Overall, I think it's good enough to mess around with, especially considering the price isn't terrible. There was a first look at this Tamron B018 18-200mm f3.5-6.3 lens. EF mount adapted to the M50 mostly, but also tried on other stuff. Anyways, Banzai. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.